Welcome back to Hashtag Self-Care Summer. This is where we're learning some quality self-care tips that are even supported by the Bible. Over the past 3 weeks, we've learned about some pretty crucial concepts. We've learned the importance of resting genuinely and sleeping genuinely. We learned the importance of why it's okay to fail. Last week we learned how we need to spend some time alone with ourselves. This week is a tip that I never would have thought could be considered as a self-care tip. And it's something that I think I'm maybe struggling for you to buy into. But I think I can do it. None of that made sense. Let's just get into it. Today we're learning about the importance of sitting at Jesus' feet. And our scripture today will focus on just one story, and then I'm going to go back on to repeatedly. It's the story of Jesus and the disciples going to the home of two women, Mary and Martha. And that story is found in Luke 10, verses 38 to 42. While Jesus and his followers were traveling, Jesus went into a town. A woman named Martha let Jesus stay at her house. Martha had a sister named Mary. Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet, and listening to him teach. Martha became angry because she had so much work to do. She went in and said, "Lord, don't you care that my sister has left me alone to do all the work? Tell her to help me." But the Lord answered her, "Martha, Martha, you are getting worried and upset over too many things. Only one thing is important. Mary has chosen the right thing, and it will." So before we talk about it, in this story, how many of you would be like Mary? Show of hands. Let me know in the comments. Okay. How many of you would be like Martha? Show of hands, put in the comments, let me know. I need to know how many Marys and how many Marthas we have who are watching us. So again, Martha was in town, saw Jesus and crew walking through it, and invited him in. And instead of the household preparing for Jesus' arrival, Mary sat with the crowd, listening to Jesus teach as Martha tried to take care of her house guests. And I can truthfully understand why Martha was upset. She's being forced to do all this work while his sister gets to enjoy Jesus' company. It's not right. Mary should be helping out Martha because it is their home and they are their guests. Therefore, they should be splitting the workload evenly. Yet, when she complains to Jesus about how he's letting all this happen, Jesus doesn't give her the answer she wants to hear. And I can hear Martha saying it in a whiny voice because I probably would have too. "Jesus, why did Mary get to sit with you while I do everything? You have authority. Tell her to help me." And Jesus tells her she's getting upset over too many things. What? I don't think that's exactly what you should say to somebody who's already upset. To me, that's like telling somebody with anxiety to just calm down, or telling someone with depression to just cheer up. Jesus saying this to me when I'm upset would make me more than likely just further upset. And he continues his response by saying only one thing is essential, and it's what Mary is doing. I'm doing everything to support you and your crew, and Mary is doing the right thing? Can you hear Martha saying that? I can. Was Martha right by saying that Mary should be helping her? Was Jesus right by saying Mary was doing the right thing? I want you to seriously consider it, because I think the answer to both is yes. I do think Martha has every right to be upset. She invited them to their home, expecting that she and Mary would be helping in the preparations for Jesus and the apostles, but Jesus is also correct. Sometimes we do get worked up over the more minor things. Things that are big to us in the moment are more minor in hindsight. Martha is upset over something that is significant to her right now. When we have guests over at my house, it does involve cleaning every room in the house, preparing table settings, getting the food together, and more. So if Martha has to do all that, she has every right to be upset. Yet, all those things are small in comparison when it comes to spending time with Jesus. It's minor when it comes to hearing Jesus' teachings directly. It's small when it comes to feeling the presence of Jesus right in front of you. So what can we take away from this? Take note. I want you to think about how you would act in the moment when things are going the way you had envisioned them to go. I want you to think if you would act more like Mary or more like Martha. And I truthfully believe most of us would be Marthas. When things aren't going our way, we get emotional. We get frustrated because what we thought would happen wasn't happening. And we get sad for that same reason. We get anxious because the future that we had planned out has now been turned on its head. So what should we do in those moments? Be more like Mary. Take a minute and step back from the situation when you feel like Martha. Ask yourself, is it worth getting all riled up over this? Ask Jesus to come into the situation and intercede on your behalf. When I've had these moments and I've had the chance to step back and reflect with Jesus on the situation, I've often felt the frustration subside. I stepped back and looked at the bigger picture and saw the plan was still there, just on a detour. And it's in those moments, those in-moment frustrations led to an overall calm. And at the moment, let's just take that minute to sit in that calm. Peaceful God, we thank you for the reminder that it's not all about work and busyness. Thank you for reminding us that it's always the right time to sit at your feet and be with you. As we go through our week, I pray that we can all have those moments to step back and sit down. I pray that we can go through and remember that it's okay to be like Mary when we feel like we should be more like Martha. We love you. We thank you for everything. Amen. And that is it. And we'll be back next week to continue our journey on how we can have a #selfcare summer. Until then, stay blessed.